Welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Your host, Jill Hart, the Coach's Alchemist. Couldn't be more excited to have you join us today. On this podcast, we celebrate the champions of change, the up-and-coming life, health and transformational coaches who are fearlessly stepping forward to make a difference in the world. Get ready for inspiring stories, practical tips, and powerful moments that will motivate you to make a positive change in your life and those around you. We're happy to have you join us on this incredible journey as we dive into the world of life, health, and transformational coaches who are lighting up the path towards a better tomorrow.
Hi, and welcome to the New World Order Showcase podcast. I'm your host, Jill Hart, and with me today is Mak Quist. Laura is a wellness coach, empowering and educating women so that they can live a life brimming with well-being, both inside and out. Welcome to the show, Mak. Lovely to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me here today. It's such a pleasure.
We were just joking about our favorite days of the week. And we both decided that Mondays are great days because they just have so much potential, right?
Right. There's so much possibility for how you can create the week that you really want to have. And so it's the beginning of the week. So why not start it out on a high note instead of some people go into it dreading it. And no, it doesn't have to be like that. It is the beginning. So you can create it how you want it to be.
Absolutely. But you don't have to wait for Monday, right?
Absolutely. That's what I always say. Why not start living fit now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how did you get into this?
Gosh, fitness has always been part of my life ever since childhood. I was a gymnast growing up, and then I got a scholarship for gymnastics at Michigan State University. And I grew up in Michigan, and I remember it was about 8th or 9th grade, and my dad had put this little seed into my head, and he said, they have this thing out in California where people actually pay other people to teach them how to exercise correctly. And I said, that sounds fabulous. I can't think of a better lifestyle. And so if you think about it, this was like in the early 80s, right when personal training was coming on the scene and group fitness was gaining its momentum. And so I earned both my bachelor's and master's degree in exercise science. And when I was between undergraduate and graduate school, I started with a couple mentors, the first home training business in East Lansing. And it was wonderful because we got to work with the president of the university. We got to work with other local celebrities and TV hosts, people who really wanted to stay fit, because at that point, it was such a new thing. So we're just trying to feel it out and see the interest. And boy, did it take off. And then from Michigan, I got to move down to Atlanta, and I started another personal training business down there and did a lot of, I did some auditioning for dancing, because with the dance and gymnastics, those went together. And then I decided, per my dance coach, he said, you just need to go into fitness. You don't have to share the stage with anyone. You can perform and be on the stage and inspire others. And I said, okay, fine, I'll go into fitness. And so within a year, I won my pro card and got to compete into the IFBB fitness. And I did that for several years, which was really a great experience, because that kind of opened up some new doors for writing for different magazines, for doing photo shoots and contributing workout articles. So I really got to use that as a complement with not only my personal training and wellness coaching, but it got to get out into bigger space other than just my ecosystem right around me. And then I moved out to Los Angeles and got to continue personal training. And out there, it was great because I got to incorporate a lot more beach workouts, which was so much fun. And then I started hosting some retreats and added yoga into my repertoire of dance and strength training and active stretching. So it was such a nice compliment. So I've gotten such this wide range of exercise and movement that it's so much fun. So I get to pull it all together. And now I'm in Seattle. And so when I work with a client, it's always, what is your goal? And what do you have that is really important to you? And how can we make that happen? So, no two bodies are the same. So no two workout programs are the same. So it's a really great way that I get to cater to them. And I've really been blessed in the sense that I get to work with a lot of women that have had what some might call different issues, right? So like shoulder pain, back pain, hip pain, knee pain, going through hormone changes. And so all of these are really fun clients for me to work with, because it's not just a weight loss client. There's something else to it. There's a different level that I get to add into it. And it allows me to use creativity and really cater it to what their needs are.
Love that you have expanded from gymnastics, which I have a lot of admiration. My aunt was a PE teacher, and we would go, and my sisters and I, and she would take us to the gym, and she'd put us on the uneven bars and try to teach us. And my hands were so blistered because I was just not used to that kind of activity. But it's just, you've taken something that you started out with as a kid, and you've allowed it to grow, and it's not just like the standard exercise or weight training, or it's not just like a one size fits all thing that you're offering to your clients. It's like you really have a large array of things for them to choose from, so that you can tailor it to help them get the best experience, because it's really about having an experience when you're trying to get into a health, rather than losing weight. Weight loss is just a symptom. Weight gain is a symptom of an unhealthy lifestyle. It's not the be all and end all of itself.
Right. So, yeah. And usually there's some other underlying layers that we have to kind of uncover. And then that comes into play when we get to talk about the mindset and the resilience and the motivational type of training that's always sprinkled through in there throughout the workout, throughout our training course together. So yeah, there's a lot of variables that really are important, and each person has a little bit of a different focus. So being able to have these tools, and then for me to be able to share that with them, makes such a world of difference. And then they can find out what is joyful on their journey of fitness. I remember in the beginning, I used to have clients come up to me, "Are you going to make me run?" And I said, "Well, do you like running?" They're like, "No." I'm like, "Well, then no, I'm not going to make you run. Why would I do that?" I want you to find things that you're going to do long after we're finished with our training or our yoga together. I want you to find out what works for your lifestyle, what works for your timeline, what works for your body.
Yeah, it used to be that, it was running and that was it, or jumping jacks, or, the calisthenics thing back in my day when I was young. We had there were just like categories of things you could do. I chose swimming because, it was least. I hated running.
Girl, I'm in that category too. I am not afraid to say that. But, I've cheered a lot of friends on as they've done their marathons or 5Ks or 10Ks, whatever, but that is not for my body. And I am very mindful of that. Just for my back or my knees, whatever it is. So, and that's okay. That there are so many different types of activities. And, even as we age, what we can do in our 20s and 30s might change a little bit in our 30s, and again in our 40s and 50s, and so on. So if we can be aware and in tune with our body, saying, "Oh, okay, well, now I need to change it. What used to work if I was doing a higher intensity program isn't really giving me that same energy. It's actually taking energy So maybe I need to shift something. Maybe I do need to add weight training. Maybe I need to lessen that. Maybe I need to add some more mobility by incorporating yoga, by incorporating different styles of movement, and listening and knowing that, you know what, this was a great chapter and that worked for this time of life. And now we're entering into a new chapter, and not being afraid of that, because what you did back at this period worked then, but your body's changing, your hormones are changing, your lifestyle is changing. And so you kind of have to really be in tune, your mind and body, knowing what is going to work together, and knowing that it's okay that a change in workout, a change on intensity level, a change on focus, and that is okay as long as
And
you're in with your body.
yes, and staying in tune with your body keeps you from getting injured, which is like the worst thing when you're getting older. I'm
Mhm.
64 right now, and I have injured myself a couple of times and had to say, no, that period of my life is over. I don't jump anymore, and I don't run. I haven't
Yeah,
run for many years, but there's just like there's certain things that you have to recognize. Your body is in this stage now, and there are other things that you can do that are, will help maintain muscle mass and bone mass. And you really do need to do some strength training of some sort to maintain strong bones, because when your bones start going, falls kill so many older people because they just don't maintain their muscle mass.
right. It's, yeah, a combination between not having enough of the strength, not having mobility, and then you throw balance on top of that, which is one
Yes,
of the reasons why I think yoga is so wonderful for all
absolutely.
ages throughout life. And because there are so many options of different types of yoga that you can incorporate, but there's so much of it that is through the core, but you do get your strength in your plank position or your down dog. But if you can't do that, there's other options that you can do to protect the shoulders or wrists. And so having a body resistance is still strength training. So, and
Mhm.
a lot of people forget about that, oh, I'm not lifting heavy anymore. Okay, well, you know what? That just means you're progressing into a different chapter right now. And this chapter includes this type of training, which is maybe more of a body resistance, a yoga, any other styles like your Pilates or bar. Those are less intensity as far as impact, but they're definitely impactful in your mobility, your balance, and your strength.
And just like practicing standing on one foot or the other. It sounds silly, but if you just have it as part of your daily routine, I stand on one foot for 30 seconds and I stand on the other foot for 30 seconds. And as you get older, you continue to do that. It really does help with your balance overall.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And even some of my clients, I have some clients that are over 60, and we have either like a Bosu ball or a foam pad to stand on, and just doing balances there, even just holding your arms out, or sometimes we'll do standing with both feet there and doing some exercises. So we're moving exercises that you could also do that are off center. So not exactly parallel front or just side. You can kind of do them at a diagonal. So these are a lot of things that I focus on with that population, is protecting themselves and understanding that they could catch themselves in a fall. If they're going forward, how do they land and push off their foot to pull back up so they don't actually go down to the ground? How can we strengthen our legs and hips and knees to be able to pull it back and find that center once again?
Yeah, it's so important. And the earlier you start, the better. So don't let yourself wait until you're 55 or 60 to decide that you're going to start doing this stuff. The younger you can start, just incorporating simple things into your life.
Yeah. And
Huge
I'm a
difference.
big fan of incorporating, even, if you don't have a 30-minute window, 10 minutes, 3 10-minute sessions. You do a 10-minute walk when you get home from work, or after dinner, you can go with a friend or a spouse or neighbor going for a walk. There's an activity, in the morning, doing a little bit of a morning routine to kind of get you going, whether you're adding some different stretches, a few push-ups, some core work to activate that core to really wake it up. So you're like, ooh, okay, it's time to work. We're going to be going on through our day, and let's activate through the core, and these little bits add up throughout the day. So it really can make a big difference. So I want people to remember that if you can't get a 30 or a 60-minute workout, a 10-minute workout still counts. So
Put on the radio and dance to your favorite song, favorite 3 songs, 10 minutes.
I mean, how fun is that? I love it.
Yeah, they're just little things that you can do that you don't have to have like, okay, I need an hour so I can get dressed and go to the gym and do my workout and then come home and take a shower. And then it's an hour if you're lucky. It's usually more like 2 or 3 hours that you're having to carve out of your day, but it doesn't have to be like that when you're trying to stay fit. Staying fit is a lifestyle. It's not a one and done.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that's one of the things I talk about when I'm coaching and going over resilience. And first part is mindset, knowing, okay, well, if I can't do what I set out to do, how can I get it into pieces together? How do I get that 10-minute workout or the 15-minute workout, and know that that's okay? It's not the all or nothing program anymore. We're past that, because we know research has shown and studies have shown that these little increments of weight training or dance party or stretching can really add up and make a difference. And I find that, again, with that resilience cycle, the mandatory, sometimes we get bored with what we're doing and we need to kind of mix it up. And so finding the fun back in your fitness by finding a different challenge. How can I add 100 sit-ups each day for the next 7 days? How do I do that? Where can I fit that in? Or how maybe I can challenge my neighbor. Let's go for a walk every day in August before school starts, because then everything is going to, mix up the schedule. Or how can we get ready for the holidays without overdoing the food? Make sure I have a small protein drink before I go out to the holiday party, so I know I'm not going to have these sugar cravings, and that way I can be mindful with my body and still enjoy being at the party, but I'm just very aware of what I'm doing, because I know I fed my body with some protein before. That way I can pick a couple of treats to have and not feel guilty with it. So yeah, the way we can be resilient is using that mindset, mixing up the mandatory boring middle part, and then also just knowing that it's really meaningful each step that you put in, and to I hate to say the word reward yourself, but allow yourself to celebrate those milestones, big and small. So you got your 7 days in, you hit that challenge, high five. Yes, that counts. Let's see what can be your next challenge. So,
and looking for fun things that are different so you can spice it up. Have the internet now, so many amazing recipes that for every kind of palate out there, and every kind of food exclusionary decision that you're making.
yeah.
I find that different parts of your life, you have different food requirements. Things that I loved when I was younger, it's like, nah, I'm not into that anymore.
Right. Yeah. And again, same thing, just like your fitness, our food changes are going to be different. Our nutrition changes are going to be different. What our body needs, our hormones are changing. So what we put into our body and how we fuel our body is going to be a little bit different. And so being aware that these changes will happen, and without beating yourself up and being like, why isn't this working anymore? We can say, okay, what can I do? Let's see how I can make it work now. That's one of the things in the Yoga Fit Life is I'll add a weekly meal plan that they can try out. So it's three meals a day, and it gives them a full week that they can try it. So whether you do that on the first week, or you try out a couple meals this week, and then the next week you try a few, but it just gives the newness into something, because a lot of times we get so stuck on the same meals and the same foods that it's really important to kind of mix it up as well. And going with seasonal eating, just like our seasonal working out, there's different things that you might do in the winter versus in the summer. Our food should change seasonally as well. And so that's why I like to incorporate these weekly meal plans within the Yoga Fit life.
And also looking at what we do fall into the ruts, the food ruts
Yes.
of meal prep. And if you've been a parent or you've got a spouse, you have like the same 15 things you eat all the time if you're lucky.
Right.
And if you're a cook. Otherwise you're probably down to 4 or 5 things that you just rotate through. But it's recognizing whether those things still taste good to you and making changes. Like I recently decided I gave up dairy. I gave up alcohol last year. This year I've given up dairy because I've decided, and coffee, because coffee was my main mechanism for getting dairy into my diet. I don't really like the way coffee tastes. I love how it smells. I could just like hang around and just
Yeah.
soak up the aroma all week, but it doesn't taste like that to me. So why am I continuing to consume it? It's not helping me, and it's just a mechanism for taking in a lot of dairy that I don't think dairy is all that great for me at this stage in my life
Right.
either. So it's interesting that like I incorporated tea instead. I love the flavor of Earl Grey tea and a little
Okay.
coconut cream in it.
That's wonderful.
Amazing. And coconut is really good for you anyway, because it's got some medium chain fats in it that are just like super good for your brain. But and it's got the creaminess that I liked about the coffee, but it's not as heavy, and it's just like so much more flavor at this point in my life for me. So,
I love it. That is such a great example of using mindfulness in your own lifestyle,
mhm,
becoming aware that, coffee doesn't taste as good. And I'm doing this habit because it once worked for me, but now it's not. And sometimes, like you did, we have to really stop and think about our habits. Are our habits really moving us forward? Or is it a habit that's actually kind of holding us back?
mhm,
And so you talking about giving up coffee and not interested in dairy anymore and finding something new, because a lot of times most people have that ritual with coffee, and then
mhm,
there's also the caffeine thing. But it was great. You were able to find something to replace it with, one that you enjoy, two that you're getting some benefits from. So
mhm,
with the coconut creamer, you're getting your MCT, which is your medium chain
that's
triglycerides.
right.
So which is like what you said, good for brain health. And then you're being able to still continue that morning time, and whether you're using that to kind of get centered and ready for your
Mhm,
day, or if you're just using that to wake up, whatever it is, that gives you that moment still. But yet now you're fueling your body with goodness and something
mhm.
that's actually a good habit.
Yeah. And it does come back to flavor and making the decision that, does this really taste good? Am I consuming this because it's bringing me pleasure? Because really, let's face it, that's all coffee's about. It's not really a nutritional item for you. So if
Right.
it's not contributing to giving you pleasure, then it's okay to do something different.
Yeah.
And you can do that with all kinds of food. Like I don't particularly like chicken anymore. I don't, and I'm really getting to the point where I don't like meat too much anymore. I don't know if the flavor has changed or my own palate has changed, but it doesn't taste good to me like it used to taste good to me.
Right.
But
Well,
I've
so many other vegetable proteins now that you could start to incorporate between your
yeah,
edamame, your soy, your tofu, and then of course you can go into your beans and legumes and your dark green leafy vegetables. There's a
yeah,
lot of different options, and not to say that you have to be full on vegan, but what I like to call it is plant forward, or you're
I
a
like that.
flexitarian, where you might have just a little bit of a meat protein occasionally, or maybe you'll have some fresh salmon, wild caught salmon, or some
Mhm.
halibut, or if you just stay more with that protein base that of plants, then you've got a lot more goodness that you're fueling your body with, and you're choosing more consciously what you are putting into your body. So then you're getting more of a benefit as you intake it into your body.
I think that's really true. And the more you get away from processed foods, I think
Yeah.
the more aware you are of the quality of the food that you are consuming and the flavor that it's bringing to your palate as you're
Yeah.
consuming it. And you can be picky.
Yeah. Oh, and it's totally fine. I mean, even going into restaurants now, we look it up a little bit more, but even a simple thing is cutting out canola oil. But I will tell you how hard that is.
Oh, yeah.
But it's something that we're really trying to do as a family, and minimizing that, because 100%
Good
out.
for
I'm
you.
not ready to like take everything with me all the time, but being able to cut that down to like a very bare minimum, and getting more fresh produce, farmers markets. There's a lot more options of getting fresh produce sent to you, getting them from the store, seasonal foods. So getting those fresh foods that are more nutrient dense to fuel your body makes such a big difference, energy wise, attitude, mental health wise. It compounds in making a difference.
Yeah, it does. And in the long run, it's a lot less expensive because you don't need as much of it. Yeah, a
Mm.
handful of nuts is like really filling. Yeah, a bag is kind of pricey, but it's not any more pricey than buying a hamburger at a fast food restaurant anymore.
No,
And
yeah.
it's so much better for you.
Absolutely. And well, you can think of it now like you're investing in your health right now versus having to pay for it later on. So
Oh,
the things
yeah.
that we're doing now, and between our nutrition and our movement and how our bodies are moving and building strength and working on our heart. And then we also have our mental health, right? And so making sure that we're taking care of that, because also what we fuel our bodies with can also help with brain fog or brain clarity. So knowing what you're putting into your body, and in the most purest form, without toxins or without pesticides, or in its most pure form, in the soonest from farm to your table, is going to be your best bet. And you might not have that all the time, but if you can choose those options more often, then that is going to give you that compound effect as well.
Absolutely. And then you're touching on mental health again, and it all starts in your head. Everything starts how you think about what you're doing, whether it's exercise or what you're eating or how you're feeling, and getting enough sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, we could go into those top five. Sleep would be in that top five category that you can't sacrifice. And it seems to be there was this huge busy trend. Oh, I'm so busy and I'm doing this and that. And that it was almost like a warrior badge. Oh, I don't sleep, or I only sleep a few hours a night. And boy, I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry about that. That doesn't sound good. How can we fix that? Because in the long run, it might work for a day or two, but in the long run, not only will it cause you, you know, brain fog, it can also cause disruption in your hormones, disruption in your gut health, and which also go into the bigger problems. So yeah, sacrificing on sleep is not ideal, just like you're not going to sacrifice on having more stress in your life. If you can downsize that, if you can decrease your stress and look for ways like, what can I do that will help when I'm having that moment? What can I do that helps bring me back into that peace? Whether it's the deep breathing, whether it's getting outside back in nature, whether it's just having some quiet time. Could be journaling, writing down your thoughts and letting them go, or writing down some thoughts as you replace of like, what would you like to happen instead of what's going on right now? How can you focus, using your focus on where you want to go? So there's a famous Tony Robbins quote that I like to use, which is where energy flow.
Yeah.
Where your focus goes, your energy flows. And if you're going down this kind of negative path, then that's going to be where you're going, instead of saying, ooh, I can work on this. And, I don't have the exact plan. I don't have the steps how, but this is where I want to go. And then you start becoming more aware of, oh, okay, well, I know I can do this arm workout for 10 minutes today. And then I know after lunch, I get to go get a workout in outside for 10 minutes because I know I don't have a meeting until after that, and at nighttime, and then, home with kids playing dance party, so there's different options that you can actually create into your lifestyle.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be difficult. None of this has to be like so revolutionary that, you're turning your whole life upside down. So I
Yeah.
know that you work with people kind of one-on-one, but you also have a community that people can be part of, which I think is like communities are so amazing. They just help in so many ways.
I sure do. Yeah. So it's called the yogafitlife.com. And so what I say, it's our yoga and strength training studio. So we have different classes that you can just do along with me right at home. And so they're anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes to, I have some on the longer end, which is like a 45 or 15-minute class. And then I have some strength training classes that could be body resistance, some dumbbells. But again, same thing, you can do it all at your own time in your own space. So you don't have to worry about dealing with traffic or travel or getting to a gym that you don't want to go to. So it's nice. You can just do it in the space of your own home, having a yoga mat and a couple dumbbells. And there's a lot of also body resistance classes in there. So I have really tried to cater it so it gives people access to what works for their lifestyle on a particular day or during that particular chapter of their life. And then, like we mentioned before, I also include a weekly meal plan. So that way you can start adding new things into your meal repertoire so we don't get stuck, so we don't get kind of stagnant with food. And then we're adding some meditations coming up in September. So yeah,
Oh, I
so
love that.
we got, and then the other category is recovery. So we do a lot of foam rolling in there. So gosh, I have sore shoulders or my upper back. And so I have some classes like how can you open up through the upper back or getting the lower back stretched out, side of the legs, the IT band. So there's different stretches that are listed in there that you can follow along and do with me.
That is amazing. This has been so insightful. I really appreciate your taking the time to come and chat with us. What's the one thing that you hope the audience takes away from the conversation we've had today?
Well, I would like everyone to take away the fact that you too can be a wisely fierce woman, which is a woman who is in tune with her body and her mind and is able to continually renew, recharge, and reshape her habits. So, and actually, if it's okay, I would love to finish up with just one paragraph from, this is a book that I was part of, Become Empowered. And this chapter that I wrote about was about resilience. And so, and it just kind of talks about my resilience journey, and I won't go into it right now, but you can have the idea of it. It was a graceful dance, an attunement to my body's whispers, a tribute to its needs, and a celebration of its progress. I didn't combat my health issues, but I embraced them with love, understanding, and a touch of playful curiosity. The journey stands as a testament to the power of exploring unconventional paths, becoming advocates for our well-being, and embracing diverse approaches to healing. I just wanted to,
so beautiful.
thank you. And I just wanted to share that with everyone. You can pick it up on Amazon, and please come visit me at the yogafitlife.com, and I can give your viewers a 2-week free trial code that they can use.
That would be awesome. And we will put all of that in the show notes, and we will, what is the name of that book that you co-authored?
Oh, it's called Become Empowered.
Okay.
So there's 12 of us that contributed to this book, and there's so many wonderful, inspiring, motivational, empowering stories that all 12 of us have shared. And it was a really wonderful experience. And we're very proud of it. The book actually hit #1 on Amazon, hot new sellers release, women's biography, motivational, and Kindle download. So we hit quite a few #1s, and we're so thrilled about that.
I'll put the link for that in the show notes as well, so people can find it on Amazon and read your chapter. And everybody else's,
Everyone,
especially yours.
Thank you. And I can remind you this, my chapter is chapter 4. And just like the Olympics, they come around every 4 years. So you can remember chapter 4. And I was a gymnast. So like the Olympics every 4 years.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me, Laura Mack.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the You World Order Showcase podcast. We hope you've enjoyed hearing from our incredible life, health, and transformational coaches who are making a profound impact on the world. Remember, change begins with you, and you have the power to transform your life and the lives of others. If you want to take that next step and unlock your true potential, visit thecoachesalchemist.com, where you can find the 3 ways we can help you for free to spin your talent into gold with clarity, a system, and a plan. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an inspiring episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more people with our positive message. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and upcoming guest announcements. You can find us on Facebook at the You World Order, or simply visit thecoachesalchemist.com.